Good afternoon. We'll go ahead and start this agenda for September 24th, 2014, Oceanside City Council, Harper District, CDC. And we'll start off a roll call, and they'll have our city attorney explain.
Mayor Hood. Councilmember Kern.
Present.
Councilmember Feline. Councilmember Feller.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sanchez is absent.
The council will meet to discuss the following items on the closed session agenda. Item 1, conference with labor negotiator involving the Oceanside Police Officers Association. Item 2, conference with real property negotiator involving the Ivy Ranch Development Company parcel APN 160-05742. Negotiating parties City of Oceanside and Ivy Ranch Development Company. Under negotiations are price and terms for the exchange of a portion of the real property. Item 3, conference with litigation counsel involving Aaron Miller versus City of Oceanside and Gun X Inc. Cavalier Mobile Estates versus City of Oceanside.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this council meeting. I'll go ahead and open the council meeting for September 24th, 2014. Oceanside City Council, Harbor District, and CDC. And with that, I get a roll call, and we'll start.
Mayor Wood.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sanchez.
Here.
Councilmember Kern.
Here.
Councilmember Feline. And I believe Councilmember Feller is here, but not a size.
You got it. With that, consent calendar, please.
Yes, consent calendar items 4 through 12.
Any public on any of those?
No public.
Move approval.
Second. And no items to pull. With that, please vote. Thank you.
Ms. Sanchez, if you don't mind voting. Sorry.
Didn't-
Motion approved 4-0. Mr. Feller absent.
Thank you very much. I will go on from there. Can we go to 13?
Yes, item number 13 is adoption of a resolution approving and implementing the memorandum of understanding between the city and the Oceanside Firefighters Association effective September 24th, 2014 through June 30th, 2016.
Good afternoon, Pat. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. The item before you today is a memorandum of understanding with the Firefighters Association. It's a 2-year contract. The key economic items are a stipend in the first year of $3,300 per member. It provides an increase in bilingual pay, at least the same as we've done for the other unions. Provides an adjustment in health insurance cap, equalizing the police officers. In year 2, there is a 2.5% base salary increase and a $75 increase in their uniform allowance. The non-economic issues, we're adding the classification of Assistant Fire Marshal and Senior Fire Safety Specialist to the represented classification. These are not new classifications, they're just being represented by this union now. We are adding retirement formula information to reflect the PEPR changes from 2013, and adding language to reflect that we will be talking with them regarding retiree health care during the term of the agreement. There's no financial agreement on that part. The cost of the stipend is $366,000. Bilingual pay is $33,600. The health insurance is $87,700. And then the PERS costs and other costs are $15,000 for a total of $502,718 for the first year. The second year has the salary increase equal to almost $228,000. The uniform allowance is just over $8,000, and the PERS costs are $111,300 for a total the second year of $348,000 roughly, for a 2-year contract total of $850,311. And I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. See you sidebar. Public?
No public on the
Back
side.
to the council. Council Deputy Mayor.
Move approval.
Second.
Mr. Kern? Thank you. No other questions? No other lights? Please vote.
Motion approved 5-0.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. When you have a moment, item 14, please.
Yes, item number 14 is approval of a 3-year professional services agreement with States Recovery Systems Incorporated of Rancho Cordova, an amount based on percentages ranging from 17 to 30% of collections received for revenue collection services, and authorization for the city manager to execute the agreement.
Thank you, Director Riley. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The recommendations coming today is that the council to approve a 3-year professional services agreement with States Recovery Systems of Rancho Cordova in an amount based on percentages ranging from 17 to 30% of collections received for revenue collection services, and to authorize the city manager to execute the agreement. The City of Oceanside has used several companies over the years to assist with revenue collection for debts owed to the city. The companies used depended upon the type of debt and the department billing the service. Throughout the years, the companies were changed based upon the competitive bid process, and therefore we issued an RFP in June 2004 for a new contract. 8 responses were received related to this RFP and evaluated based upon the criteria listed in the RFP. 3 companies were invited to a meeting with city staff and asked to be prepared to cover several topics. State's recovery systems rated the highest, and reference checks confirmed the competency, professionalism, and service-oriented focus. States also offered the lowest commission rates on first placement services. That concludes my report, and staff is available for any questions.
Thank you, Jim. Have a seat sidebar, please.
No public on this item?
None?
No.
Thank you very much. Back to City Council, Deputy Mayor.
Move approval of the agreement.
Second.
Thank you. With that, no further questions, please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you very much. With that, when you get a chance, item 15, please.
Yes, item number 15 is approval of Amendment 1 to the property lease and operating agreements with Agri Services Recycling Incorporated for the operation of a compost facility at El Corazon. Provide for the reimbursement of an amount up to $180,000 per year to Agri Service to address the removal of green waste contaminants, revise the legal description of the property, and address other minor changes to the agreements, and authorization for the city manager to execute the amendment.
Thank you very much. Doug, good evening.
Honorable Mayor, members of City Council, good afternoon. Doug Eddow, Real Estate Manager, City of Oceanside. Staff is recommending approval of the item before you. What it does is it addresses a couple of housekeeping items. One is to slightly modify the legal description. It had to change due to some habitat issues as well as some grading issues during the initial construction back in 2009. The other items, again, are changing a definition, changing an exhibit that addresses a buyout, and the other one is to change the entity from Agri-Service to Agri-Service Recycling. The biggest item has to do with a payment of about $180,000 a year to Agri-Service Recycling to help them offset the cost to remove contaminants from the green waste that is dropped off by the city's green waste hauler. Contaminants are such things as plastics and trash that go into the green waste containers by mistake. When they get to the green waste facility, they have to be removed before the actual green waste can be processed. Under the agreement, Agri-Service has the right to charge a green waste hauler, but if we did that, then in turn would the green waste hauler would in turn raise their rates to the ratepayer to pick up their green waste. So I was directed by the Water Utilities Department to have this paid directly, cut out the middleman, and go from the solid waste fund directly to Agri-Service on an annual basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Seated sidebar. Thank you very much. Public on this.
No problem.
Thank you. Back to the council. Deputy Mayor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Agri-Service Recycling is one of the greatest treasures that we have here in the city of Oceanside. I know a lot of other cities wish that they had something like this. Very happy to move approval.
I'm going to second, but I do have a comment. Maybe this Dale can address.
Mr. Kern, you're up then.
Oh, I kind of figured that. I've been out there and I've watched that operation, and they're absolutely right. You know, the green waste that we recycle from the curbside is really dirty. I mean, people put their trash in, people put other stuff in there, you know, the plastic bags and stuff. I know we've reached out to tell people that only green waste goes in the green waste bin. Can we reemphasize that or somehow make people aware of that problem, that only, you know, that green waste goes in that bin? Because, you know, like I said, I've been out there with Mary walking through it, and just looking at it coming off the trucks, it is really dirty stuff.
Most of the educational efforts that we put out on anything related to solid waste speaks about segregation of recyclable materials and green waste and what goes into the trash. Ultimately, though, with all that education, we still anticipate a very small amount of contamination to occur regardless of our education efforts, and so this cost is to address taking those products out of the green waste product.
Yeah, well, when I was out there was more than just a small amount. It seemed like there was a lot of contaminants in the green waste coming off the truck. And I don't know how you reach out. I don't know if we put little stickers on the green waste bins that say green waste only, but, you know, some people don't pay attention. But that's, you know, that is a real problem, and that's why I seconded the motion that we really do need to work on that at the front end, so we don't have to pay all this in the back end.
Councilmember Feller, please.
The AB 939 goals, are you aware of what that they are? I know what they were.
The original goals were to divert 50% from the landfill, and those goals have changed now to 75%, I believe, by the year 2020. I believe we're currently at 72%, and our success is in large part due to the facility already accepting green waste materials.
Very good, thank you.
Please vote.
Motion approved 5-0.
Thank you. Item 16, Ms. Dale, you want to hang around?
Yes, item number 16 is approval of plans and specifications for the South Oceanside water line placement project and authorization for the city engineer to call for bids.
Thank you, Ms. Dale.
Good evening.
Mhm.
I am introducing Jason Dapper, our Water Utilities Division Manager, who will be providing the report. We'll both be available for questions.
Honorable Mayor and council members, the South Oceanside water line replacement project is generally located in the southwesternmost part of the city, between I-5 and Oceanside Boulevard, the Pacific Ocean on the west side, and then Carlsbad on the south side. The department has determined that there's several areas in the downtown area which we consider the downtown area, anything west of I-5, that require upgrades. A majority of these pipes, both water and wastewater, were constructed in the early 1920s through the 1950s. And this project is one of the first phases that we've been working on, and this project includes improvements to the system reliability, to the fire flow, and it also brings our facilities up to compliance with our current standards. Some of the pipeline improvements have already been constructed. They are shown here on this map in red. They were constructed in 2012. The remaining portions, which are shown in blue, are part of this project, and they include improvements along Stewart Street, Whaley Street, Serrano, South Horn, South Clementine, South Nevada, South Ditmar, and South Freeman. The project consists of replacing undersized pipelines, including hydrants, valves, and all the homeowners and businesses will get new meters. We will also upgrade a few sewer segments that are part of this project within the same street that the water line is being replaced. This will allow us at the end of the day to provide a curb-to-curb overlay of the street, and the residents and businesses will have a new asphalt pavement. We have been and will continue to perform outreach to the residents and businesses within the affected area. Our engineer's estimate is approximately $1.9 million. Our budget for the project is approximately $2.39 million. Staff is requesting council approve the plans and specifications and authorize the city engineer to call for bids. That concludes my presentation. I'll
Thank
be
you.
at
That's
site.
being signed by, public?
No public.
Back to us then, Deputy Mayor, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This has been on the Utilities Commission agenda, and of course this was before us during the budget talks, our workshop. So I'm going to go ahead and move approval. This is very critical work that needs to be done for infrastructure maintenance and improvements. Thank you.
I'll second.
Councilmember Feller, please.
Thank you. As you have probably seen in west of Coast Highway, the streets are kind of a mess with the work that's going on down there, and to somehow fill the public in on how the streets are going to be where we're going to do this work. What is the time frame for street repair on all of that?
I believe you're talking about the Myers State project. So that is currently under construction, and the contractor's moving well ahead of schedule, and he's anticipating to be completed with the installation of all of the pipeline later this year. So I think at the first of the year, 2015, we'll see new pavement in that area. These projects are, the South Oceanside project is very similar. What we do is we do a lot of public outreach and explain to the residents and businesses that are in the area how they're going to be affected during construction, and then what they can anticipate at the end of construction, with the new asphalt pavement.
There's also been considerable flyers that have gone out, and there's an informational hotline for residents to call if they have questions.
So did I miss when the repairs would be completed? Or did I?
For the Myers State, it's going to be at the beginning of the year, of 2015. And for this project, obviously the asphalt's the very last thing that gets accomplished. And this is about a 12-month-long project.
Okay.
So it'll be about a year. And the very last thing that they do is do the asphalt repairs.
And that cost estimate includes the street repair?
That is correct.
Boy, we're getting a bargain. Thank you.
I had only one comment, and I always smile when I say it, is that we seem to pave a roadway and sort of thereafter we dig it up again. Are we having any problems about getting everything done ahead of time and not find out a week after we pave it, we dig it up for a pipe? That's my only concern I have, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and this project started out as strictly a water line project, and so as I was evaluating the plans and they were coming across my desk, I realized that there was sewer pipeline in the same street that needed to be upgraded. So because we have a program budgeted for upgrades to the sewer, it made sense to go ahead and add those sewer lines, and then when we're done, we are complete with our pipeline installation and digging up the streets, and then hopefully they will have nice streets for several years to come.
And we've been working in close coordination with the Development Services Department on their paving overlay program, so that we're doing our work ahead of their planned paving.
That's what I want. I'm proud. I get a lot of feedback from the public that you pave it and a week later they dig right down the middle, put a new pipe in. So anyhow, with that, I appreciate the information and feedback. Thank you very much. No further questions, please vote.
Motion approved 5-0.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Don't wander away though. Item 17, sir.
Yes, item number 17 is approval of plans and specifications for the Robert A. Weiss Filtration Plant Solids Handling Lagoons Project, authorization for the city engineer to call for bids, and adoption of a resolution adopting the project's initial study mitigated negative declaration.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bill. Welcome back.
I feel like we've been here before.
Yeah, it looks like deja vu.
Introduce Jason again.
Deja vu.
Be on the side.
Honorable Mayor and council members, our Robert A. Weiss filtration plant is located outside of our city boundaries. It is off of Gopher Canyon Road, about halfway, or I'd say probably closer to the 15 than it is to the city boundaries. The plant was originally constructed in the early 80s. It was expanded in the mid-90s. It has a rated capacity of approximately 25 million gallons per day. The plant takes raw water that's purchased from the San Diego County Water Authority, treats it, and then sends it down the hill to the residents here in Oceanside. This here is a bird's eye view of our existing facility and the ponds as they currently exist. Our treatment process utilizes settling ponds, and these ponds are also known as solids handling lagoons. The existing ponds were constructed originally of concrete, asphalt, and they have gravel bottom. They have reached their expected lifespan, and they currently are struggling in their performance and efficiency and are due for replacement. This is a conceptual view of the proposed ponds. The new ponds will be constructed entirely of concrete and have been designed to increase efficiency and enhance our ability to comply with our current and future Department of Drinking Water regulations. The project consists of new concrete lagoons, a new pump station, along with associated piping and valves. We will perform public outreach to the few residents that will be affected in the general area. This is put out in the country, so there's not a whole lot of residents, but we will be in touch with all of them. The project engineer's estimate is approximately $2.1 million, and the adopted budget for this project is $4.7 million. Staff is requesting council to approve plans and specifications and authorize city engineer to call for bids, along with adoption of a resolution to approve the mitigated negative declaration. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you.
No public.
Back to the council, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Move approval of plans, specifications, call for bids, and then move adoption of the resolution.
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Flynn, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a quick question for my clarification of the difference between the engineering price of the $2.1 million versus the budget of the $4.797. What's the difference?
You want a mathematical difference, or you just want to know what the general difference is?
Some days aren't
Right.
days, yeah, no,
Exactly.
an explanation
Yeah.
would be preferred.
So what we do is, when we perform our needs assessment, which we did for this facility, we determine what improvements are necessary, then we do a engineer's estimate that is best, that we can best allocate what kind of funds are going to be necessary for the projects, and that's done years in advance. And so then we adjust our budgets and set our budgets for the capital improvement program based on those assessments. So when the engineer's estimate came in, which is a very detailed estimate after the plans and specifications are complete, so the difference a lot of times ends up being some change within the actual design. So what we thought we were going to build either changed a little bit, which substantially would have an effect on the overall price. So it's just better construction methods. It could be construction materials or a complete different design. So when we budget, we try to make sure we budget on the safe side, and obviously we did here. So
in essence, this is basically, the difference between the two is good news.
it is great news, yeah.
Okay.
Saves us money for other projects.
No further questions, let's go for a vote.
Motion approved 5-0.
Thank you all for your time and input, thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, let's jump ahead to 26, if we may. City manager's item.
Yes, it's an update on the HERO program.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce Carrie Dale, who's familiar with this program, but I believe the HEROES program has offered opportunities that some have taken advantage of to do energy efficiency improvements, and they've extended that for water conservation issues. Ms. Dale?
Good evening. I'm here to provide a informational report out along with Matt Messina with the HERO program on a program that the council approved last June of 2013. When you approved a resolution at that time, you authorized PACE programs, which are property assessed clean energy programs, to operate in the city. And under that PACE umbrella, there are 4 programs that are allowed to operate in the city. 3 of them have been approved by you. Those are Y-Green, Fig Tree, California First, and HERO. And we're going to hear from the HERO representative today on activities that have been going on in Oceanside since that program was developed. As I mentioned, this is an informational item. I do have a short video to share. It's about 2 minutes. And then we'll let Matt report out on what's been going on in Oceanside to help residents install clean energy as well as water conservation devices. And then I'm also going to just give a pitch for some of the rebates that are available free to homeowners in Oceanside as well. So I'm going to move over to the video.
California has been suffering from a serious drought. It has gone from bad to worse.
This drought is a big wake-up call.
With water bills only estimated to keep rising for Californians, many homeowners are just doing the best they can with what they have. But now, communities across California are responding to emergency water ordinances by offering the HERO program to homeowners. The HERO program is a property-assessed clean energy program. This unique financing solution is being rapidly embraced by elected leaders to help their constituents save water and money.
A lot of my constituents want to do the right thing when it comes to reducing their water usage. This program opens up that opportunity. These projects are going to help to conserve water, which is very important in the valley and throughout our desert regions, our mountain regions.
Well, I have the county seat on the San Diego County Water Authority Board of Directors. So I want to keep spreading the word about this.
We know that it saves people money, but it gives homeowners options that they've never had before.
Homeowners can cut their water use by a third with HERO-funded improvements that include high-efficiency plumbing fixtures, water-saving landscape upgrades, and water capture systems.
We've had literally hundreds of customers that have been able to conserve water and increase their property value, all because of this program.
Anything that we can do to get that water bill down is what we would like to do.
We've tried to conserve where we can, and now the biggest project is replacing our backyard grass with the synthetic turf using the HERO program.
If only 1% of everyone in the current HERO communities participated, 2.5 billion gallons of water would be saved in 1 year alone. And if every resident of California participated, the water savings would be a whopping 525 billion gallons. That would be more than twice the volume of Lake Tahoe saved every year. HERO makes water efficiency improvements available to more homeowners than traditional financing solutions, and it's the fastest growing energy efficiency financing solution in the nation. To learn how to bring HERO to your community, contact the appropriate representative listed here or visit HEROprogram.com.
And I'd like to introduce Matt Messina, who will be presenting a few slides.
Good afternoon, Matt. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much. I'm well. Thank you, Carrie, and Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Pleasure to be here this evening to provide an informational update on the HERO program, one of a number of PACE programs that the council has approved here for the property owners of Oceanside. There was a number of information in the video that was just presented, but I'm going to run through a couple of slides here to just provide some specific information on the city of Oceanside itself. As Carrie was saying, the HERO program is a property assessed clean energy program. We operate under state legislature AB 811. It was passed into law back in 2009. The main goal with the HERO program is to provide a safe and affordable tool for property owners to finance these types of improvements, everything from energy efficiency, renewable energy, and water conservation measures. So by providing a tool solution for property owners, we're also simultaneously helping communities, cities, and counties reach their goals in terms of making environmental impact as well as stimulating the economy. So a couple of things here on this slide is some of the advantages of HERO. There's numerous financing options available to residents, and HERO is just one of them. There typically about 70% of the homeowners, property owners out there in the community are approved for HERO financing when they apply. So that tends to be a greater percentage of the population that would otherwise pursue other types of financing. So we're hoping to really extend this offering to more individuals out there. One of the other big advantages of this type of financing is that we are not dependent upon credit scores. So we're looking at the equity of the home, which is the main reason why we see more people qualifying, because most people, or a lot of people in the community, do have equity in their homes. We provide low-cost, fixed-rate financing. So people can finance these improvements for 5, 10, 15, or 20 years and have a predictable low-cost interest rate. And then, of course, the main advantage, for those of you who may not know, is that the debt obligation often transfers to the new owner in the event of a sale or refinance, which is a big difference between a lot of other financing options out there where you would have to otherwise true up the debt obligation. So here in the city of Oceanside, as Carrie mentioned, the resolution was passed back in June of 2013, and we subsequently launched the program on February 10th of this year. So just in a few short months, 7 months to be exact, we actually have completed and funded 153 projects here in the city. And we've received well over 600 applications. So we're working through a queue that is about 400 plus approved applications right now. So we expect that number to grow as we continue. And relatively speaking, the one point I definitely wanted to make tonight is that relative to the other jurisdictions that are operating under the HERO program within San Diego County, Oceanside is actually #1 in terms of applications received and applications funded. So kudos to you all, and it was a testament to launching early on and making this program available early on. So in addition to the number of applications, that has resulted in 27 local jobs here in the city, as well as over $5 million in economic stimulus that's going directly back into the economy. One of the main goals around the HERO program is to obviously positively impact the environment. So a couple things that we are doing is actually saving energy, obviously on an annual basis. And what you see here is 52 megawatt hours being produced, which is actually equivalent to about 5 residential homes being powered for an entire year. So as we continue to fund more and more applications, these numbers will continue to grow. In addition, greenhouse gases being reduced is equivalent to about 3 to 4 cars being taken off the road permanently. So incredible numbers already, again, in just a few short months. And then in terms of the products actually being installed, I know Carrie's going to talk about a number of water-saving measures that can be done. It's actually water conservation measures are our biggest growth area right now, actually, with the awareness around the drought and so forth. It's about 1% of the applications coming in, but we expect that to grow to over 3% by the end of the year. Other than that, the main product categories that people are installing are doors and windows, solar photovoltaics, as well as HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So this product mix that you see in front of you is fairly typical for most other communities, most coastal communities actually operating throughout the state. And in case there are members of the audience who don't know how to get started with HERO, it's fairly simple. You can either dial our 1-800 number, which is 855-HERO-411, to find out whether or not you're eligible and for how much, or you can simply go to heroprogram.com and check your eligibility as well. So with that, I will turn it back over to Carrie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. So I wanted to mention some other free things that are available to our residents to help combat, the effects of drought. These are conservation tools, rebates. We've mentioned free audits for homeowners and for businesses. The phone number is up on your screen. I'll go ahead and state it. For those of you at home, it's 1-866-883-1332. Call that number, schedule an audit in your home. You get a very detailed report back on leaks, appliances that could be replaced to reduce your water use. It's a great free tool for residents. And also rebates available through SoCal Water Smart, some of which are here. There's rebates available both for residential customers as well as commercial industrial customers. We're seeing rebates on toilets again, which we haven't seen in several years because it was thought that the market had been saturated. So it's nice to see toilet rebates, and within the department, we're going to be taking advantage of these for several projects here at city facilities. Again, the website is there, and another tool is to reference or go to the SDG&E website. They also offer some energy-saving, water conservation type rebates. This is probably the largest program that's growing in Southern California. It's turf replacement programs or grass replacement programs. Grass is the most water-thirsty crop in that you can have in your lawn, on your lawn. We had recently submitted for $83,000 worth of rebates through Metropolitan, and just received word that we were approved for those. It's a very, very easy application. You take out your grass, you can put in either drought-tolerant plants. You can put on any impervious type of a surface, such as wood chips or even artificial turf qualifies for this program. And so this is a really nice incentive for people to get some money back. You can also double dip by applying for the Water Authority's program. That's $1.50 square foot rebate for every square foot of turf removed. So you could, in essence, get $3.50 per square foot of turf removed. That one does not allow for artificial turf to be used, and you do need to have an area replaced that's viewable in a parkway area. So I know the Metropolitan program, I believe they've committed over $50 million. I know that the number is just huge in the Southern California area. I'm not sure about the Water Authority program, but with that, both of us are available if you have any questions, but this was generally an informational item.
Thank you, please. Councilmember Curtin, please.
Thank you. Tomorrow at the Water Authority, we're taking up a turf replacement program for commercial users. Does this hero, we talked about residential here, the commercial users, has there been commercial applications, and have we approved those? And Matt, I'll let you come back and kind of explain the commercial side of this, because I know it goes beyond the residential.
Sure. Thank you, Councilman. Yes, primarily, actually exclusively what I was talking about this evening here is our residential statistics thus far. I work for a private company called Renovate America. We are the ones that provide the administrative services associated with the residential side of the HERO program. There is a partner firm, Same as Capital, that does the commercial side of the program. I unfortunately do not have the numbers on how many loan applications have been submitted and funded to date, but I'd be happy to provide that information to Carrie and hopefully send that through.
My question is, if somebody's out there that has a business and they saw these numbers on the screen, can they still call those and we direct them to the right place?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Mr. City Manager, please, or light was one.
Thank you. I had a couple of questions for Director Dale. This water audit that the city provides, can anybody get that if you're a homeowner, renter? Is that available to anybody?
I believe so. There are some time limitations in terms of you can't have one every year. I think you have to wait a 2-year period between getting a second one, but yes, it's available to anybody.
And if I think my water bills, it shows up disproportionately large for some unexplained reason, we come out and work with people on that, don't we?
We do. We have city staff that can come out and look to see if they see some pretty apparent leak, but also this other service is a good tool to supplement that, to really get at specifics on what's going inside and outside the home.
I just have one other question. I live in a neighborhood that has very strict landscaping requirements, and they're real particular about anybody changing anything. I think the state passed a law recently that allows people to make changes in their landscaping regardless of what the requirements are? Do you know anything about that?
There's a couple things that were passed. The governor's proclamation on the drought restricted HOAs from requiring people to water their lawns if they wanted to cut back in response to the drought. That was one thing. And there has been some legislation passed by the governor recently which allowed, I'll have to get back to you on specifics, but I believe it required HOAs to allow for artificial turf landscaping, but I can get back to you on specifics on that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people. I've seen some residential properties in the community have done a really good job of putting in drought-tolerant landscaping, but they've had to take out their front lawn turf to do that. If it's done nice, it's very attractive, and I think it would be useful for people to know if they can do that, whether that's going to be problematic. I don't know whether we send out information to the homeowners associations or we're going to be working with them to clarify that. Hopefully we are.
Our intent is to outreach to the HOAs, but I'm very interested in hearing from residents if they do have a restricted covenant that this allows them from implementing these programs. We'd like to work with them to make sure that those covenants can be changed to allow for these things, because drought's a reality.
Okay. Well, thank you for the very timely information. I think it's going to be useful for people watching at home. Thank you so much.
Councilor Feller, please. Just take it away.
I think there's probably a lot of unreported water use that is probably, it's like happening at 1, 2, 3 in the morning and running down the streets. And so I know it has happened in my neighborhood, and I see it on our rights of way and in the center dividers and all that. When people see that, where should they call so that people can report the...
They can call the customer care line. It's 760-435-5800, and they can take that information and refer it to the correct department to address it.
Okay, very good. Is it 5800?
4,500.
4,500. Thank you.
Well, I only call it about 1,000 times a year, so I just...
You have it committed to memory then.
I wanted it to come from the mouth of the expert, but the 4,500 is...
4,500. 435-48. 4,500.
Not all. Thank you very much. It's info only. Thank you very much. With that, Mr. Clerk, can we do the closed session report from our city attorney next?
Thank you. The council met in closed session to discuss item 1, conference with labor negotiator involving the Police Officers Association. There was no action to report on that item under the Brown Act. Item 2, conference with real estate negotiator involving the property at Ivy Ranch Development Company, parcel of land. It's APN 160-057-42. The negotiating parties, City of Oceanside and Ivy Ranch Development Company. Under negotiations are price and terms for the exchange of a portion of the property. There was discussion and direction on that item, but there's no formal action to report at this time. Item 3, conference with legal counsel on existing litigation involving Aaron Miller versus City of Oceanside and Dunnox Inc.'s Cavalier Mobile Estates versus City of Oceanside. Those are informational only items. There's no action to report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And we're going to take about a 10-minute recess. If you haven't been here before, out the doors upstairs, bathrooms, water, and be back about 5 o'clock for the second half of the council meeting. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second half of a council meeting. Most of the stuff that went on earlier is closed session reports and consent calendar. Now we move into some of the presentations and a few other items. We do have some presentations, as you see around the room. Got some VIPs and real VIP kids here from the soccer club. And we'll do some introductions here in a minute, but thank you. A couple of housekeeping. If you got a phone and it's on, put it on pager, that and the pager on silent or vibrate. We appreciate it. It'll keep you from being embarrassed like I always am when it rings. Anyhow, welcome. This is the second half of this, and we'll start off with a few things, but let my aide explain it. For the invocation and pledge of allegiance, when you do those two items after the over, you can be seated again. Please, Debbie.
Please stand. Tonight's invocation will be delivered by City Clerk Zach Beck, who is also the youth pastor for Gateway Community Church.
Let's bow our heads. Father, we come before you to simply say thank you. Thank you for this privilege, this blessing, this honor it is to live in the city of Oceanside. We come before you as individuals of different backgrounds, different beliefs, different presents, and different futures, but one common goal, and that is the betterment of this community. So we seek guidance, wisdom, and discernment during the deliberations that transpire this evening on issues that are relevant to this community. At this time, we lift up our council members, Councilmember Kern, Councilmember Feller, Councilmember Feline, Councilmember Sanchez, and Mayor Wood. Provide them with guidance, wisdom, and discernment during their discussions this evening. And we seek peace and justice in our community, and most of all, we just seek the betterment of this community as a whole. We say all these things in your precious name. Amen.
Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Nathan Joseph and Ryan Fisher from the Oceanside Breakers U11 soccer team.
Ladies and gentlemen, out there, you can be seated, but I want to say something before we get the boys starting. Our city clerk does the invocations all of the time, and I want to thank him. He's been a wonder here in the city of Oceanside, one of the nicest guys I know. If I wanted a son, that's who I would pick. So let's hear it for our city clerk. We have a lot of VIPs in the audience today from several different things, and we'll do presentations, but right now, these are my heroes, and I'll let you take the mic. Hands over your heart. Ready? Begin. Go ahead, guys.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please seated, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you very much, and these young lads, they'll be up here in a second, but I want to remind you, when you hear all the medals jingling around, this is because they have a lot of awards and medals. Debbie, please, you want to come up now or stay up here? Okay, go and have a seat.
Okay, next we have the KOCT 30-year anniversary proclamation. The following individuals from KOCT, please come forward. Ms. Ray, Chairman. Margaret Murlock, Vice Chair. Debbie Allen, immediate past Chair. Robert Camel Gleesberg, Treasurer. Sorry, Robert. Kirsten Hill, Secretary. Bill Innes, Board Member. Richard J. Robertson, Board Member. Jacob Rush, Station Manager. And Tom Racer, Executive Director. Can we have Michelle Davis also come forward, Board Member?
Before you do it, Debbie, we have a proclamation. But ladies and gentlemen, if you go around anywhere in Oceanside, just about at any event, you'll see some or all of these faces. This is the face of Oceanside right here. Wherever you go, they're there for something to give back to the community, and especially with KOCT. We have Emmy Award-winning people here tonight, too. So this is a good group to have out here. Debbie, would you give the proclamation for me, please?
Proclamation in honor of KOCT's 30th anniversary. Whereas Community Channel KOCT was created in 1984 as a 501c3 not-for-profit corporation, beginning as a partnership between volunteers, city staff, and elected officials with the goal of producing programs for, by, and about Oceanside and our North County neighbors. And whereas KOCT was originally formed to document city council meetings, but since then has created more than 6,000 programs on a variety of topics, interests, and subjects about our community, winning local, regional, and national awards, and twice winning the National Hometown Award given by the Alliance for Community Television for Best Public Education and Government Access Station in the nation. And whereas KOCT has produced and continues to produce more election programs than most television stations in all of San Diego County, with the goal of providing important information about ballot initiatives and candidates, a critical service for voters considering the loss of local newspapers. And whereas KOCT has provided real-world training and experience for generations of young people seeking work in the communications field, culminating in alumni now working as reporters and camera operators at local television stations and editors in Hollywood and media fields in cities across the nation. And whereas KOCT is governed by a volunteer board of directors and is currently working on a series of grant-funded documentaries and health, arts, and cultural programs, now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jim Wood, mayor of the city of Oceanside, California, do hereby proclaim September 24th, 2014 as KOCT Day in honor of their 30th anniversary. Furthermore, I wish to encourage our community to join Friends of KOCT, a membership program that keeps you informed about their programs and services, issued this 24th day of September 2014.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. My name is Liz Ray, and I'm proud to be the chair for KOCT. I would like to thank for honoring us for our 30th year and serving our community. KOCT is a 501c3 nonprofit run by a board of directors who are all volunteers, executive director, Tom Reeser, and the staff. We invite you to become a member of KOCT. Watch as we change and evolve in the next few years. Information on becoming friends of KOCT will be on our website at www.koct.org, koct.org. On Thursday, October 23rd, we're inviting you to our annual fundraiser. It'll be at the Outback at 2485 Vista Way in Oceanside. We invite you to call KOCT at 760-722-433 for tickets. We are having a private seating, and the times are 11:30 and 1. Again, for tickets, please call 722-4433. Thank you. But if you can't make it, you can still purchase a ticket, and we'll donate it to the Marines. They will be distributed at Camp Pendleton for the next Saturday. Now I'd like to give the mic to Mr. Tom Reeser, our Executive Director.
Thanks, Liz. I want to thank the mayor and the council and the city staff for acknowledging KOCT's 30 years
of service to the North County community. It's appropriate that it's election season because it was actually an election season more than 30 years ago that helped create KOCT. We were covering forums that were put on by the city employee unions, working with city staff and volunteers, and Mayor Bagley felt that we needed to have a little bit of distance, and he encouraged the founder of KOCT, Bob Bowditch, to form a separate corporation. And we still continue to produce election programming more than anybody else, and when you watch in October, you'll see we'll run it extensively on KOCT and as a video on demand. In fact, we've often said maybe a better fundraiser than the Outback would be to tell the public that if they didn't send money, we were going to keep playing that election programming past the election. So it's a threat. But we've had a great relationship with the City of Oceanside, the City Council, the City staff. Steve Jepson helped negotiate one of the best franchises, the last great franchise before they went to a state franchise. But we continue to need your support. We thank our underwriters like Waste Management of North County, Scripps Health, our corporate sponsor, Enjoy Hair Care. He's a local boy that made good, went to El Camino High School and gives back to KOCT each year. And San Diego Gas and Electric and AT&T, all of them help support in the community the efforts that we do, the election programming that we do. And so we thank you for this acknowledgement. I want to thank my volunteer board of directors for the hard work that they do and the staff that puts in the work day in and day out. And we appreciate being acknowledged. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to ask the rest of the council member, the city attorney, city manager to come up here for a good photo op for 30 years with KOCT. And I appreciate it, gentlemen and ladies, if you'll come up here. Number one, we're going to have to, like herding cats, make a couple of lines because we don't want to so wide we won't get a picture. While we're doing that, if I may, from a personal note, my mother passed away a few weeks ago, and I can't think of anybody that helped me more than this lovely lady. She's been so kind in helping me, and I want to thank you, too. And it's a tough time in your life when your mom passes, but it's so nice when you have somebody like this to help you through it, and thank you, hon. I appreciate it. And I think I'm going to get in the back or move in here and make spots. And, Tom, you get up there.
Sure, come here.
Can you get us all in? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for this group. Thank you all for being what you've been to Oceanside for 30 years.
Next, we have the Certificate of Appreciation for the Oceanside Unified School District Commitment to Zero Waste. Would the following individuals from the Oceanside Unified School District Board please come forward? Dr. Dwayne Coleman, Superintendent. Emily Ortiz-Wichman, Vice President. And Lillian Adams, Clerk of the Board. Yeah. And staff members.
One second, Debbie. Remember I said the last group, these are the faces of Oceanside? That's one side of the face. This is the other side of the face here. Ladies and gentlemen, our school district, our school board people here from the city of Oceanside, this is the first school in the state of California that did this. So we'll get into that, but I'm so proud of it. Oceanside. And before we get too started, of course, board members, I'm going to pass the mic, but the new superintendent of schools for Oceanside Unified School District, we're very proud of him being here now. Thank you very much. The board members will appoint later because, you know, they're not as important, you know how that is. But anyhow, Debbie, please.
Okay, Certificate of Appreciation honoring Oceanside Unified School District Commitment to Zero Waste. The Oceanside City Council would like to recognize the Oceanside Unified School District, or USD Board of Education, for their commitment to waste reduction, recycling, and environmental education through the adoption of the OUSD Waste Reduction Resolution. This resolution, adopted January 21st, 2014, supports our community goal of a 75 to 90% recycling rate by 2020, set forth by the City of Oceanside Zero Waste Strategic Management Plan. Furthermore, this resolution establishes OUSD as a leader in California, as they are the first district to formally adopt zero waste as a goal. Through implementation of the Zero Waste Schools program in partnership with the City of Oceanside, OUSD has demonstrated their dedication to instilling environmental stewardship in the youngest members of our community. We wish to thank them for fostering environmental responsibility to our youth. Issued this 24th day of September, 2014.
Well, let's hear from I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to start the mic with you.
Well, actually, I'm going to talk about the person that I think really brought this program to the city. But I just want to clarify before moving forward, not only is this program the first in the state of California, it has now been identified as the first program in the United States. And it is being recognized by EPA as a model program. And with that said, the state of California, the California Resource Recovery Association, also recognized this as a model program, is promoting it as a model program to other school districts in the state, and recognized this program through a recent award they gave to myself and staff. We'd also like to present this award to City Council as well as the school board. And that is an award for an outstanding waste diversion program by the California Resources and Recovery. But before moving forward, and I really want to recognize the partnership that we've established with OUSD, but before that, I'd like to recognize a staff member that brought this program to the city a couple of years ago and made it possible with amazing partnerships with OUSD as well as amazing members of our community. So I'm going to hand it over to Jim Aurora Pa.
Thank you, Colleen. I just wanted to really recognize the partnership with OUSD and especially the board. We have Emily Ortiz-Lichman, Vice President of the board. We also have Liliana, the Secretary. Clerk, excuse me, and then we also have our new superintendent who we've already met with and got on board, so Dr. Dwayne Coleman. We're very excited to move forward and bring zero waste to all of OUSD by 2020. And I really want to recognize Karita Goodwin. She has been instrumental in the implementation of the program throughout the schools, and she's also the co-founder of the program. So thank you very much, sir.
I will pass it down. I'm Dwayne Coleman, and thank you, Mayor, City Council, and staff for having us here. This is a strong partnership, and this is something that we're going to continue to grow, and our goal is 100%. I know we talked about 90, but we are really trying to do everything we can to get to that absolute zero waste in the district. So I appreciate the award. Thank you to our school board, and thank you to city staff. Karina, I used to go out to Palmquist and watch her. She is tenacious, and kids follow what they need to do. The parents that are on site, the teachers, they're throwing away the trash in the proper bins. It's an amazing process that's taking place, and it started all there at Palmquist, and it's spread throughout the district. So, Karina, thank you so much for being that role model for us.
I'd like to thank the city for the certificate of appreciation on behalf of the Board of Education. Again, this is a phenomenal partnership, not only of what's happening with our kids and the environment, but actually working together, all different levels, administration, our staff, and the heart and soul is our parents. I mean, they are the example to all of us, to the kids. They're there, and as Superintendent Dwayne Coleman said, it's just amazing how they have these kids in their little boxes. They put their little waste, and it goes on and on with the garden. As Karina just said, that she was just there. Again, it takes phenomenal time and effort for our parents, and that's the kind of community we have here in Oceanside. So I would just like to say from the bottom of my heart to thank you, thank the city, thank all those involved, and of course our school district. We've got a great city, great kids, great family, so thank you.
I am very shy. As I leave the school board after 16 years, I see us going in the right direction. And I hope that the collaboration between the city and our school district will continue to grow. And if we keep our kids first, we're going to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so proud of this because I got up here thinking we were the first in the state of California. To find out we're first in the nation is pretty big. You know, I got to say, first in the nation. These kids, with the support of their family and friends and schoolmates, have really gotten into this and made it an issue in the schools. Not only does it make a better place for to live, but in California and the city of Oceanside, all that stuff that's turned in for recycling, the city makes money off of it for you. All the things you need for your life and what you want out there for quality of life issues and the school district. So God bless these young kids that went out and started this and the first in the nation. I am so thrilled. I want to get a nice picture if I can say later on. I knew her later on when she's famous. Let's hear it for first in the nation.
Next, we have the Mayor's Business Member Spotlight. I'd like to call forward from the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce, David Nordegger, President and CEO. Don Lindy, past Chairman of the Board. C.C. Haas, Board Member and Chairman of the Membership Committee. And valued Oceanside business members, Joshua and Rebecca Van Orden of Oceanside Therapy Group.
I'm going to try to do this without a paper. That'd be pretty easy. We're here tonight to really honor a couple that, for the community, they're one of those sort of silent partners that the Chamber really would hope every business would be. They started the Occupational Therapy Group in 2009, and when they did it, they started as a one-stop shop. Speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy. And they're located up here in North County, and I'll tell you how they got here. In 2009, sometime like that, Rebecca was working down in Chula Vista as a speech therapist. And Joshua was working to get his financial license to work as a financial advisor. When along came a child, a daughter, and after 6 months of leave, apparently Rebecca said that there was no way she was going to leave the child at home and go back to work. So the two of them got together and did what probably happens in a lot of families. They mulled it over, and they discovered North County, and particularly Oceanside, because of its proximity to the Marine Corps base. And they began to work towards coming up here, and lo and behold, here they are. They, frankly, they serve mostly military families. They're super active in groups with autism. They do the ACT walk. What is it? It's a walk for families who have family members who have autism, and they're heavily involved in our efforts here in the chamber to do Operation Appreciation, and they also work with a group that Cece works with, which is Got Your Back, which is a group that serves children that need nutrition that they don't normally get. So one of the things that I have to tell you about them is well, first of all, their business, they started with the two of them 5 years ago, and now they have 26 employees. And that is a real tribute to two people who, are invested completely in their passion, which is friends, family, and children. And they just seem to be, taking everybody along with them. And so we're just delighted to have Josh is on the board at the chamber now, but we're just so delighted to have you both, and we're so proud of you. So thanks.
Well, Josh, Rebecca, I just have to say that for the time that I've gotten to know you, I know you care about the community of Oceanside. You care about the families and the kids here and furthering them in every way. And you've shown that to me by what you've done to support Got Your Back and our vision to feed the hungry kids here in Oceanside through what you do. And I just can't thank you enough. So from the chamber and everything you do for the chamber and for the city, I thank you. And on behalf of the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce, we want to give you a certificate of appreciation.
Yeah, Josh and Rebecca really epitomized what small business is all about. Having a dream, coming up here and starting, like you said, with you stole my thunder. 2 employees, and now they have 26. How many clients do you serve? 250 a week. Wow, awesome. So thank you, and you're great chamber members, and really appreciate your support. Thank you.
I told Rebecca that she was going to have to do this, and she threatened to leave. So, just really quick, thank you to the Chamber, thank you to the City of Oceanside and to Mayor Wood. We feel truly blessed to be a part of Oceanside, and it just brings a lot of joy what we do. We're a pediatric therapy clinic, so we work with children, and like they said, we do speech, occupational, and physical therapy. So, it's been just a true blessing for us, and we're going to do everything we can to give back. Thank you for having us.
That's it, folks. I've got a photograph now. One last one, we'll get back to the council, and this is a biggie.
Okay, next is the Mayor's Youth Sports Recognition and Appreciation Award. And I want to introduce the team members from the Oceanside Breakers U11 Blue Team from the Soccer Club of Oceanside. I'm thinking maybe if we hold our applause to the end, that would be great, so I can introduce them all. We have number 2, Ahmed Khalil. Number 9, Alex Aguilar. Number 11, Alexander Contreras. Number 12, Cameron Arch. Number 7, Cody Huffman. Number 8, Fernando Villalobos. Number 13, Jared Camara. Number 6, Javier Camargo. Number 10, Joseph Nellis. Number 5, Mauricio Ramirez. Number 4, Nathan Joseph. Number 13, Pedro Perez. Number 37, Ryan Fisher. Number 16, Jojo Martinez. We have head coach Sean Lightholder and team manager Gia Ellis for support. And I have a little something I'd like to read here about this team. Just a little quick blurb here. The Oceanside Breakers U11 Blue Soccer team is newly formed this year, and all players are new to competitive play. This year they competed in and won the La Jolla Labor Day Classic with a 4-1 victory in the championship game. The team is currently in first place in the Presidio Soccer League AA-C North Division, and in the first 4 games of the season, they have scored an impressive 23 goals.
Right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, you can move anywhere you want for a photograph. That's why we're here. You get your parents to take pictures. It's live on KOCT TV. Later on, you can tape it or get it from them for the grandparents and family friends. So move wherever you want. I'm impressed, and because, ladies and gentlemen, you hear a lot of clanking. And I see all these awards and medals they've gotten. It's pretty impressive. I'm going to start off down here with the coach and Team 1. Say a few words for this team and what they've done and what you're thinking. Some of the parents think.
I want to thank the City Council, the Mayor, the City of Oceanside for allowing us to be here, and the rest of the staff. I want to thank the parents for getting the boys out to practice every night that we have it. That's very appreciative. And I just want the boys are a great bunch of boys. I may give them direction and holler at them a little bit and try to lead them in the right direction, but they're the ones who go on the field and play the game, so I couldn't be more proud of these guys. 5 tournaments this preseason and 3 finalists with 1 championship, so that's pretty good. And special thanks to my team manager for all she does.
Thanks to the coach. He gets the parents to do, he gets the kids to do what us parents want them to do, but they don't listen. So thank you to Coach for that. Thank you to the City of Oceanside for providing us probably the most phenomenal fields in all of Southern California. We've gone to several fields around here, and I think it's no question that Nancy Buchanan is the best. And we look forward to El Corazon opening up here in the near future. So thank you to the City of Oceanside for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This is a team that started off as winners, and we're proud of them. And we bring them here to the TV audience in Oceanside because they can't show up for one reason. These kids, the teams, the coaches, the moms, and everybody else that gets involved, we have Oceanside on their jersey. They represent us here in Oceanside, throughout the county, sometimes the state and the nation. So this is our opportunity to say thank you to them and what they've done for advertisement and promoting the name of Oceanside around the world. And they've done just that. So this is our opportunity to say thank you to them and the parents, coaches, and team. Thank you all. Let's hear it for this team. Thank you, and by the way, if you folks don't forget to pick your certificates up as you go out, okay? And then you're finished and go outside. Thank you all. Can I be a Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. I appreciate it. It's nice to honor people that have done a lot for our city and community, and these sports teams that really highlight Oceanside and what they have in abilities. Thank you for your time and waiting. I appreciate that. We don't have a long agenda, but we'll get started here. We'll go off with the item 24, please, for the public.
Yes, so this time Kathy Nykel may come forward.
Hi, Kathy.
Honorable Mayor, city staff, attendees, and viewing public. My name is Kathy Nykel. I'm with the Main Street Oceanside, the Downtown Business Association. We do have several events that are coming up, and we ask you to please visit our website, mainstreetoceanside.com, and we also are on Facebook. A few things. Thursday is Market Day in Oceanside, and we do have 2 events that are coming up. We have Candidate Night on the 2nd of October. There are 7 candidates up for election. This is a perfect venue for meeting candidates for local, county, and state offices. That night you can do a personal meet and greet and ask them about your concerns and your views. So they will be there between 5 and 8 o'clock on October 2nd. And then, of course, our 7th annual Haunted Market. We have a trick-or-treat from 5 to 7, a costume parade that starts at the stage at 6 o'clock, Evil Laugh and Blood-Curdling Scream Contest at 8 p.m., and of course our DJ will be there from Rock the House. And the last thing I'd like to bring up is I want to thank both the 17 restaurants, 9 businesses, and 9 breweries in our Living Tea business for assisting us, along with the city and all of our supporters and our promotion committee, for our Taste of Oceanside. We were happily surprised with the outcome, and we hope to do this every year. So thank you again for all your support.
Thank you, Kathy.
Now we're going to move forward to public comment on off-agenda items. In that regard, I just want to encourage everyone to remind you guys that we all have a quorum policy here within City Council chambers. So when addressing the council on items not on the agenda, if you could do so in as respectful of a manner as possible, that would be much appreciated. Additionally, if you could state your address and your name during your time up on the dais, that would be wonderful as well. I will call you 2 at a time. You can line up at the 2 podiums. Our first 2 speakers at this time are first Donna McGinty and second Leslie Davies.
My name's Donna McGinty. I haven't been here for a while. I've been watching at home, and needless to say, it was a lot of dismay. I'm really disappointed in what I'm seeing go on. Mr. Mayor, currently, by majority votes of the public, we have a council member majority that has proven to be qualified and performing in our best interest. Obvious progress has continued to show that this community is certainly not as developer-friendly as has been said and instead, business development and consequently the rate of employment in the city is showing steady growth. Workers are beginning to live where they work. No longer is it necessary to drive the freeways to work on a daily basis. Candidates vying for the 2 seats in this council have both failed to two of the seats have been are vying for positions that have failed in the past. Since those failed attempts to lead us, these 2 repeat failures are back again to attempt taking the majority control of our city council. Obviously, the candidates have shown no real public agency leadership skills and no real financial management background. What they have done to prove those skills does not exist since the last election attempt. What have they done at all since the last election to prove their previous failed attempts to be elected or just a misjudgment on the public majority's part. It is truly sad to see the individuals and members of the faction group continue in their failed attempts to have the same losing candidates represented as leaders of this community. The elections have politically shown these supporters their choices of candidates do not bode well with the majority of the voters in the city. The group continues to present us with the same old agenda of candidates of choice. Obviously, their failed attempts is not clear to them yet. They have no other candidates other than these previous election losers. Mr. Mayor, just in passing, your comments last week in your reports regarding the balanced budget to Mr. Fairlane are not appreciated. We do not have a balanced budget as of this year. We have a $400 million unfunded debt for pensions and benefits for the employees in this city. I do not consider that a balanced budget. Thank you.
Hi, Councilman Kern and Councilman Saline, I know last night during the debate you mentioned that the Hunt Corporation didn't have very many complaints filed against them. Well, they do have an F rating currently with the Better Business Bureau, but one reason why they don't even have more complaints is because when most people file complaints, they file directly to the puppy store. Those complaints are filed directly against the puppy store, not the broker. The Hunt Corporation was almost closed down in 2010 for having in 2007 for having 1,000 pounds of dead animal carcasses on their property.
We're having a hard time hearing you from the mic.
Okay, sorry. Most customers are not even aware that the cute little puppy they just purchased for several thousand dollars comes from a puppy broker who distributed 90,000 puppies in 2012. They won't tell you how many they disclosed last year. I think they're too embarrassed. But most people are unaware that the little puppy that they just bought was shipped in on a big semi-truck traveling 2,000 miles across the country with hundreds of other crying and barking puppies stopping at the puppy stores along the way. This is what happens in our city every Wednesday. They're usually shoved in that Tupperware container. That was just one of about 15 dogs that were shoved through the back of that little hatch that particular day. And the reason why I'm up here is I just wanted to say there's a reason why this store was unanimously banned from the city of San Diego by their city council. And in November, I am going to be supporting Dana Corso and Chuck Lowry for city council, and not Councilman Saline and not Councilman Kern. Thank you.
Next, we have Ann Scott and Colleen Kelly. And if you could please state your name and address for the record, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
My name is Colleen Kelly, and I live in Carlsbad. I have had the honor of speaking before on the very same issue, that would be the puppy store. I wanted to remind you of my past career. I'm a retired deputy district attorney for San Diego County. I mention that because 20 years in the downtown courthouse made me familiar with the lack of courtrooms. I know that people die while they're waiting for a courtroom to award guardianship, conservatorship. I know that domestic violence incidents increase while a couple is waiting for a courtroom to have dissolution of that marriage. I'm also aware of a statute, civil statute referred to as SLAP, standing for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation, what I'm doing right now. I am familiar with the fact that David Salinas has filed or been involved in 15 lawsuits. So, while the shelters are crowded with these sick puppies, the taxpayers as well are dealing with these lawsuits. I'm also familiar that fortunately at least one judge upheld the anti-SLAP statute and kicked David Salinas out. Could you please do the same thing with this store? I respectfully submit this request. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. For the past several years, I've witnessed the revival of Oceanside with very cute stores and restaurants and the flea market down there. I'm very proud to be a part of this community. But every now and then, a bad apple slips in. And of course, the bad apple is this puppy store. Because of 2 or 3 very callous council members, this puppy store is still in existence. Any business that derives its income from the suffering and the cruelty of others, in this case, small, helpless dogs that have no voice, does not have a place in Oceanside. Oceanside is a city of integrity. And I'm very, very sorry to see this going on. And I have personally witnessed the cruelty in this store. Thank you.
Can I please, yes, please. Okay. Next we have Sheila Cada and Roseanne Bentley.
Good afternoon. My name is Sheila Cada, and 5160 Avenida de la Plata, Oceanside. Okay, in Oceanside, we have a voice, and that voice is our voice, is our vote. So please, Oceanside, vote. Let your voice be heard. We have 2 council members, Kern and Celine, that are up for election, and they need to go. We need to elect people that will work for the people of Oceanside, not the DIA, not developers, not mobile home park owners, not Bill Babbitt, the Director of Government Affairs for Builders Trade Group. Babbitt is the one that wrote our city charter. Kern and Celine have received thousands of dollars from these organizations and the people that represent them, none of which live in Oceanside. These people and organizations get this money because Kern and Celine are working for them. Follow the money, Oceanside. No one gives money like that unless they know they will get something for it. Kern and Celine are working for them, not Oceanside. We need to elect people that are honest and are working for Oceanside. Kern and Celine brag how they have laid off 130 people that work for the city of Oceanside. For every good job, that creates 10 other jobs. They want to outsource anything they can. Outsourcing does not save money. It just creates hardship for people. We need to elect officials that work to save jobs, that care about their people and their families. Many cities have elected officials that fight for their citizens, fight to save jobs, create ways to save jobs, and they are doing great. Portland is one of them. Kern and Celine have closed shelters and soup kitchens. We need to elect officials that care about the poor and the needy. Officials that find ways to open shelters and soup kitchens and create affordable housing, not get rid of fees that create things like this. The rich developers only have to pay $1,000 per unit now thanks to Kern and Celine. Kern and Celine voted so that the shop that gets its puppy from puppy mills can be open in Oceanside. Many cities will not allow this. They justify their actions by the truth, but the truth is, by doing this, it perpetuates and enables a terrible thing such as a puppy mill to exist. Chairman Feline supports the Melrose extension. This is even after the Planning Commission said it was a bad idea. The Melrose extension will save less than 3 seconds of driving time. It will take many properties through eminent domain, one that is a business and employs people and brings people to Oceanside. Not only that, it will cost the people of Oceanside over $40 million for less than 3 seconds of driving time. They closed Jeffrey Ranch Road, sealing people in. They only have one exit now. Don't worry, Oceanside never has fires. To reopen Jeffrey's Ranch Road, it will cost at least $1 million. I wonder how much it costs to close it. Oceanside has spent $800,000 for the first study, and now another $1.4 million for the second study on this thing, and that's a waste of money. Kern says it's been on the books for 20 years, so we should go through with it. We need elected officials that do not support something that is a bad idea and waste money, even if it has been on the books for 20 years. Okay, Clemson do not support Oceanside. The people worked and got ballots, over 15,000 signatures for it, no on ENF, and people came here and stood, hundreds of us, and stood and talked. And you know, they didn't.
Ma'am, you're going to have to wind down. I'm sorry, your time's up. I apologize.
I have much more to say.
I know. Come back.
Both for Dana Corson and Chuck Lowry, they will support the people of Oceanside and work for it.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. I'm Roseanne Bentley. I live in Carlsbad. I'm here to tell you how we all feel about that pet store Oceanside Puppy on Oceanside Boulevard. I may not live in Oceanside, but I spend a lot of money here. I really don't even know why we're here, though. This should be a no-brainer. Don't you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you listening? Am I on? I had no idea there existed the kind of inhumane mills or factories that breed dogs for sale. When I learned about the horrific life and abuse these creatures endure on a daily basis, I vowed to become involved and lend my support to end it forever. What really broke my heart was learning about the horrible life in the mill for a little Italian greyhound named Lily, right here. She lived in a cage with a life full of pain, deprivation, and isolation. This is the life of a mill dog, a commercial breeding dog, a disposable puppy mill mom whose only value was to produce puppies for profit. Poor Lily, with no medical care, poor quality food, rabbit bottle watering, and no chew toys. The roof of her mouth and lower jaw rotted away, and she was riddled with tumors, not to mention being terrified of people. Lily was rescued, luckily, but even with the best of care and the most love in the world, she only lived a short time, and that's when I learned more about these hellholes. The cruelty with which breeder dogs are treated in puppy mills is one of the darkest and most shameful chapters in the history of human arrogance and greed. To force breeder dogs to live their entire lives in cramped cages, to leave their infections untreated until they go blind or deaf, or to be tossed still breathing into dumpsters, to leave them filthy and covered with sores, to feed them poorly and to give them no moment of affection is wrong on every level. No society can claim to be compassionate or enlightened if it tolerates puppy mills in any form. People who do this don't care about animals, like David Salinas. They care only about money and use and abuse animals for profit. But now we have an opportunity here in Oceanside to do the right thing. Councilman Kern, Councilman Feline, there is a reason why San Diego City Council unanimously voted to ban this store from their city. When we go to the polls, we will remember who voted to let this store in Oceanside. That's why I am enthusiastically supporting Chuck Lowry and Dana Corso in this upcoming election, and everyone I know is voting for them. Don't you care about your legacy? Will you be remembered as the leaders as a town that is proud to let the world know they care about animals, or will you instead be known for the shameful support of those who profit by the abuse of helpless creatures? This is your choice, and the voters will make their choice. Do the right thing, do the humane thing. Your legacy depends on it, and so do the lives of innocent animals. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Jeanette Peck and Susanna Ray.
Upside down.
Jeanette Peck, 2225 Valley Road, Oceanside. I have a master's degree in public administration and am a California registered civil engineer. I have worked as an engineer in many California cities, both as an employee and as a consultant. I recently attended the Candidates Forum at Maricosta College and once again heard Mr. Feline disparage what he calls special interest groups in the city. I wonder, who are these special interest groups that Feline finds so offensive? Well, there's the firefighters, the police officers, all the other city employees, seniors and veterans in mobile home parks, the Sierra Club, the surf riders, the Friends of the Library, those who live in the harbor, Action, the group that represents the Oceanside neighborhoods, people who oppose the Gregory Canyon landfill, those who oppose the Melrose extension, and those who are concerned about the treatment of puppies in our city. Neighbors concerned about widening Interstate 5. Mr. Feline agreed that any neighbors that don't like a city project should just let their homes be moved out of the way because, according to him, that's best for the rest of the city. Feline says it's okay to subsidize the corporate donors, but it's not a good idea to help people who live and work here. At one city council meeting, Feline prepared a draft resolution calling the entire state government corrupt. Really? Recently, Feline called Mayor Wood and Councilwoman Sanchez pandering. Shame. These two people have devoted their entire adult lives to the Oceanside communities. They certainly deserve better than that. And then he was railing against the Rancho del Oro neighborhood, describing them as a bunch of self-centered NIMBYs. Isn't having a special interest a sign of good and interested, involved citizens? Some may not have a special interest in the city yet, but they very possibly may in the next 4 years. Does Oceanside really want a government that is contemptuous of its citizens, these citizens who are concerned about their city? Please carefully consider, should Oceanside continue with Kern and Feline, who focus entirely on big business and development? Or would Oceanside be better off electing Chuck Lowry and Dana Corso, who, through their actions, consistently demonstrate their concern for their fellow citizens and has shown that they will work hard to build a stronger community for everyone? I am voting to elect Chuck Lowry and Dana Corso to our city council, and I hope my neighbors and friends will do the same. Thank you.
Amen.
Good evening. My name is Susanna Ray. I'm at 200 North El Camino Real, Oceanside. My remarks this evening are not directed to this council, but to the citizens of Oceanside about this council. As a student of history, it has been my observation that since the beginning of time, there have always been people who have sold out their country, their community, and even their family members for personal gain. It seems to me that such an act is more onerous when that person is in a position of public trust. On this council, we have two such individuals who are asking that you return them to this council this next November. I am asking you to search your conscience and to ask yourself if you really want to vote for someone who sold you out for personal gain. I do not know if they received money or just promises of political advancement, but they clearly betrayed you, your children, and your grandchildren when they personally endorsed and voted for the Gregory landfill. And as a council majority voted to reverse the policy that this city had had from the inception of that project, I ask you, who would vote? Who would even speak for and on behalf of a project that would pollute the water source of a whole city of 3,000 people and all the other thousands of people that live downstream from Gregory Canyon? I ask that you do not vote for such persons. I will not. Thank you.
Our next two speakers are Susie Schroyer and David Terrell.
Hi. Good evening. My name is Susie Schroyer. I live at 276 North El Camino Real in Oceanside. Honorable Mayor and the other council members. Mr. Feline, last night at the League of Women Voters Candidate Forum, you made a point of telling the audience that the city of Oceanside was in a fiscal mess when you came to the council. You prided yourself that you had achieved your goal of making the city more fiscally responsible. I'd like to point out that your goal cost people and families their jobs over the people you kept. You cut city services such as closing the Marshall Street pool. You removed police protection from gang areas and placed them in the tourist section of downtown, jeopardizing the safety of Oceanside residents, just to name a few. I don't have time to list everything, but a few of your fiscally irresponsible actions have been: you spent $850,000 on study for the Melrose extension after your own planning department found it too costly and rejected it. You spent up to $250, counting all the city costs, on an election that 15,000 citizens signed petitions to stop. You spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on consulting fees for projects that will work and which the residents of Oceanside do not want. If you want to have a city council you can trust, you can't vote for the incumbents. Vote for Chuck Larry and Dana Corso. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm David Terrell, 276 North El Camino Real in Oceanside. Honorable Mayor Wood and the rest of the council. Mr. Cohen and Mr. Feline, you both used the term property rights as an excuse to stick it to certain Oceanside homeowners. You said you did not want to legislate what property owners could and couldn't do with their property. Let's talk about property rights. Deputy Mayor Sanchez. Property rights are, generally speaking, the right to purchase, hold, and sell my property. Well, that was easy. As you know, all of these rights are specifically defined by law, especially as regards real estate. A homeowner in a subdivision is not allowed to build a 5-story apartment house. a cattle ranch, a shopping mall, or even a geodesic dome. The government tells us all exactly what we can and cannot do with our property. That's not only okay, it's why we have a government. Do you want to live behind a 5-story apartment building or a slaughterhouse? Of course not. Government controls what we do with our land and our homes. You, especially you two, would not have it any other way. As an Oceanside homeowner, I have certain rights. One of those rights is the right to the equity in my home. If my land lease payment goes up, the sales price of my home goes down and I lose equity. This is the same problem with property taxes charged by cities. The higher the tax, the lower the equity in the home. Proposition 13 protects homeowners from extortionate taxes. Your Proposition E would have encouraged extortionate land leases. In fact, your specific wording in the law was that my land lease raises would be unlimited. As you know, this would have eliminated my right to sell my property, which would have stolen my equity. You too are trying to steal my property rights and give them away to outside interests. If you want to protect the property rights of Oceanside homeowners, you really cannot vote for the incumbents. Vote for Chuck Lowry and Dana Corso.
Next, we have Linda Walshaw and Rita Morocco.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Linda Walshaw, Vice President of Action, and I live at 151 Robbie Lane in a manufactured home park. At the OCNA League of Women Voters Forum in 2012, Mr. Kern stated that Oceanside rent control for mobile home parks was going away one way or another. 2 weeks ago, at the KOCT Forum in 2014, Mr. Kern said Oceanside's rent control was a dead issue. For homeowners who are fighting to keep their homes, this issue is anything but dead. So that voters know the truth of this matter, Oceanside has a zoning conversion ordinance that allows the park owner to convert all or any portion of their park. Further, it states that if a homeowner has attempted to sell their home, which is impossible to do if the park owner rejects your buyer, even without cause, under the ordinance, that homeowner is entitled to no relocation expenses. If the zoning is converted from a mobile home park to the park owner's personal rental income property, for example, he can then give the remaining homeowners 12 months' notice of termination. Worse, if a park owner claims it would create a financial hardship for him to relocate homeowners, this council majority has the authority to reduce or eliminate that requirement under the ordinance. It is for this reason that park owners have contributed tens of thousands of dollars to Mr. Kern and Mr. Feline's current campaigns. Currently, here in Oceanside, thousands of seniors, veterans, and disabled persons are living with the threat of losing their homes hanging over their head. Proposition E did not end this threat, and in fact, park owners vowed they would continue this fight, and they have. Landscaping has been cut down, grass removed, roads crumbled, street lights burned out, hostile managers hired to block home sales. We've even had hospice workers' cars towed with their parking passes in the windows while they're caring for patients. Yet, Mr. Kern and Mr. Feline allow these tactics to continue and give their support to park owners who contribute money to their campaigns. These councilmen did not listen to the 15,484 voters who signed a referendum to stop Prop E in 2012, and instead spent about $250,000 of your tax dollars to put it on the ballot for special elections. Mr. Kern and Mr. Feline continue to state, let voters decide. Yet when voters disagree with them, they override choices made by voters as they did with Prop E. When Mayor Wood was reelected 2-1, this council majority passed their own ordinance stripping the mayoral powers and transferring powers to themselves. The decision of who should have those powers belongs to the voters of Oceanside. Mr. Kern and Mr. Feline are still not listening to their constituents. They are listening to special interest campaign contributors. We, the voters of Oceanside, promised we would remember their actions when these two council seats were up for re-election in 2014. Voters are asking Mr. Kern and Mr. Feline, can you hear us now?
Our final two speakers are Barry Horton and Thomas Kraus. Oh, Rena Morocco. I'm so sorry, Rena. I'm really...
Hi, my name is Rena Morocco, and I'm a candidate for Tri-City Healthcare District, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Tri-City. Because Tri-City is very important to the Oceanside community. It's one of the largest employers in Oceanside. And I'm very, very concerned about it because it has some financial problems that are not the greatest. A couple things that concern me most about Tri-City is that there's a rumor about it being privatized. And I'm very concerned about this because this means that some private company, unknown company, we don't know who this company is, would be able to come in and make decisions and budget cuts, and they'd be getting paid with our tax dollars, and yet we, the citizens, would have very little input onto what's being done. So I'm very concerned about that. I'm very much opposed to that. And the other thing that concerns me about Tri-City is something that's right up my alley. For 21 years, I have been a marketing consultant. My clients are major national consumer packaged goods companies like Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Samsung Electronics, Nestle Purina, that caliber. I've done national promotions for them. And I'm very concerned about Tri-City's reputation. I'm concerned when I go onto the social networking sites and when I go see reviews on them that they are very poorly received in the public. The reputation is really bad. When I talk to the public, people say horrible things about them. Yet I have right here a report that I printed up from a hospital safety score report from an organization called Leapfrog. And Tri-City actually, when it comes to hospital safety, has an A rating. Palomar has a C. Tri-City has an A. But nobody knows about this because the current board that is, in place is making decisions that are pretty much based in the 20th century. And this is a 21st century problem. We have social networking, we have social media. When somebody has a bad experience, they go and they tell the world. I'm very, very concerned about this because this does affect the bottom line of Tri-City. So once again, my name is Rena Morocco. I'm a candidate for Tri-City Healthcare District, and I hope I can count on your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Barry Horton, 200 North El Camino. Tonight I'm going to I was watching the streaming video of the Hero presentation earlier in the evening before I came. I thought that's a wonderful idea, but then that's going to save people money. And then November 17th, we're going to have a public hearing on water rates, pass-through charges, wastewater rates, and waste service fees going to go up. Great. November 19th, the first reading. At City Council will hear oral arguments and written materials submitted to the Office of City Clerk at the address of the City Clerk. On the day of the public hearing, as long as they are received prior to the close of the public hearing, any written protest must include your name, signature, description of the property, address, and/or assessor's parcel number, and that's for any property owner in the city of Oceanside. You all listening up there? All of you got to sign up, or else this thing's going to pass through. And it looks like it's too easy to pass through. That night will be the first reading. The next reading is December 3rd. It will be passed that night, and then 30 days later, January 3rd, it goes into effect. There's all kinds of rate increases, and I don't know if I can put them up, if it's worth putting them up. They're not giant, but they are altogether inclusive of everything. Another subject I got is how not to vote. Do not vote based solely upon your political party affiliation or your family's voting tradition. You need to look at the stands each candidate takes on issues. Do not vote based on candidate's appearance, personality, or media savvy. You need to look at the candidate's stand on the issues and whether he or she will endorse legislation in accord with basic decency principles. Do not vote for candidates just because they self-describe themselves as one moral code or another.
Some of these folks currently in office regularly vote rejecting basic moral concerns. Again, look at what they do, not what they say. Vote before or on November 4th and be ready for Terminus a quo, a new starting point, November 5th. Da-da-da-da-da-da, jump the lean third.
Hi. Hello, Mr. Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me here again. I am Thomas Kraus, running for the 76th Assembly District here, representing Encinitas, Carlsbad, Oceanside, and Vista. I live in Carlsbad. I wanted to commend the councilpersons here and the other candidates in TV land for attending the council candidate forum yesterday at St. Mary's, and commend them on what I consider to be fairly civil discourse, and I think it's a critical process to help citizens decide who they want to choose to represent them in this November election, and I encourage you all to continue to participate, and I encourage the citizens to continue to participate. It was a good turnout, and in particularly to take part in the Thursday, October 2nd, Sunset Market Candidate Night, at which I will be appearing as well. People would like to ask me questions directly, and I imagine that all the Oceanside Council people will be there too. In the context of civil discourse and elections and providing voters the necessary information to make their choices, I just wanted to convey that I found out today, confirmed, that my opponent, Mr. Rocky Chavez, had been listing 2012 endorsements on his official website and finally deleted them all today, leaving him with no listed endorsements. And in case any of the residents of Oceanside, many of whom I have talked to who had hesitated to get involved in my campaign and the campaign in general, having thought that it was a fait accompli, given the list of what turned out to be fake or phony or certainly false, inaccurate endorsements. I talked to the editors of both the San Diego Union Tribune and the San Diego City Beat, and they confirmed to me personally that they did not issue an endorsement. They are not likely to issue an endorsement this race, and oddly, if they were not going to ask to meet with either candidate. So, in again the spirit of providing opportunities for voters to interact with their candidates, I am here offering Colonel Assemblyman Rocky J. Chavez an opportunity to debate me either on October 8th or October 16th at the Carlsbad City Library. I've arranged for the League of Women Voters to moderate it. They're the same group that moderated last night's council candidate debates. And I will send an official letter to Mr. Chavez's campaign office tonight or first thing in the morning. I think it's the least that he owes his constituents to make himself available to debate me in public, so the voters can have the best information to make their choices this November 4th. Thank you for your time.
No further public on the side.
Thank you very much. And with that information, Mr. Clerk, all I have left on mine is council reports. Has everything else been covered?
Correct.
Thank you. Let's go with the council reports. I'm going to go last. Thank you.
I guess that means I'm next.
Sorry, Ms. Sanchez, I was trying to make
That's
sure.
all right.
Thank you.
Okay, well, there are so many events that have taken place this past week. I do want to mention a few things that are coming up. This Friday, which is September 26th, is the opening night of A Few Good Men at the Star Theater. So this is very, very exciting. We've got several Oceanside residents in the play, including South O's own, our own, Gordon Polk. So come on down. It's since it's opening night, there's a reception at 6:45, and you can get tickets at the door, or you can get tickets online. Again, at the Star Theater, our great that was built in 1956, a very good year. And curtains up at 7:30. So come on down. I believe it's running for like 2.5 weeks, but certainly opening night is always really, really exciting. Also this weekend is Harbor Days, and I'll let my colleagues talk more about Harbor Days. The opening ceremony is Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. But also on Saturday is the North County Model Railroad Society picnic. The society is hosting a picnic at Heritage Park. So all you model railroad enthusiasts, please come on down to our lovely Heritage Park, 3:30 to 7 o'clock. Also Saturday's a big day, Saturday night, 6 o'clock, the annual American GI Forum Oceanside Chapter Mariachi Dinner. And this is very, very special. It's an all-women mariachi. Las Reinas de Los Angeles will be playing. So this is really, really fantastic. The thing is, you cannot buy tickets at the door. You have to buy your tickets beforehand. This way they can figure out how much food to prepare for. So very, very exciting. This is a scholarship. It's $35 a person. So for $35, you get a fantastic show and a really great dinner. And a lot of fun. This has been going on, I want to say, something like 15 years, maybe even longer. So please come on down for that. And I guess we'll be meeting again October 1st as a council. So thank you very much.
Councilmember Feline.
Thank you. I just have a couple items. It was wonderful to participate in the 9/11 Remembrance walk that took place from the pier up to the flagpole, and acknowledge once again the tremendous losses and sacrifices that took place as part of 9/11. On Saturday, September 13th, was much happier day. Had a great opportunity to participate both in the ribbon cutting for the completion of the Mission Avenue Improvement Project and the huge improvement that made for the downtown area, and on the same day was the Taste of Oceanside, in which multiple restaurants participated, and it just shows the turnaround that's taken place in the downtown area over the past few years. And it was great to see the sidewalks packed and the restaurants all filled up. And on Wednesday, 9/17, we had our employee appreciation lunch, and it's always great to have an opportunity to say thank you for the work our employees do for the city. And that concludes my report.
Councilmember Feller.
Thank you. I only have one thing. This past Monday, my mother-in-law, who has lived with us for 9 years and is a full-time care receiver for my wife, but we celebrated her 97th birthday, and I'm thinking that I may live longer, so I better start working on taking better care of myself. It's pretty scary to see my with it, sister.
Yeah, Coach Barry keeps asking me about you, Jack.
Yeah, well, Coach Barry can, he's going to have to wait a little longer. So anyway, I'm not going over there tonight. So, but happy birthday to Monica, my roommate, my mother-in-law. I've known her 47 years. So. She's a great gentle spirit, and she is the pride of our family, and we were glad to celebrate 97 years with her. Thank you.
Councilmember Kern.
Well, Jack, on the agenda tonight, we actually bought new equipment for the fire stations. We're going to have surplus athletic equipment, so maybe we can drop something off to your house. Something you can work on?
Well, I think Esther's the only one that could lift him off the truck now that she's been working out.
Yeah. So, no, actually, I attended the Taste of Oceanside. It was really great. It was a spectacular event. I think when I talked to Kathy Michael when I went down there, they had pre-sold 480 tickets. And when I went down there, the line was probably 50 people long. So I think they got close to 800 people there for Taste of Oceanside for the inaugural Oceanside. I did have a chance to fly over El Corazon, And people on the east side, I flew the river, I flew the pattern, and so the idea that it was, I stayed within the parameters of the pattern. I was, actually we were at 1,200 feet. You know, I wasn't flying, I was in the right seat, but a friend of mine was flying, so we flew at 1,200 feet, then we went up to 2,400 feet and took pictures not only of El Corazon, but of the industrial park. So that is coming along. I was out there yesterday. They have about 3/4 of the grass in. The grass should be in by the end of the week, or so it should be ready to go. So other than that, that's it. So thank you. Mayor Wood?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I went last. Last council meeting, I wanted to go last because I wanted to address something. We obviously addressed part of it, and I don't need to go over that again. I get some of the people tonight pay attention to what they do and not what they say, and I think that's important with an election. I'll leave that part at that. Been involved in a lot of events that I'm sure you don't want to hear about, and sometimes, I'm sorry, I had to go to some of them. They're just too much, and after a while, you get 3 or 4 a night. You get tired, and especially when they feed you at 3 or 4 of them, and you're trying not to eat at all of them. But anyhow, we've all done that and see what happens. It's not easy to go out and eat at 3 or 4 things a night and not put a little weight on. I know some of us up here fall in that category. I know that I'm shopping Portly Cadet right now because it's a bit of a problem, but for the council, we do eat a lot. On the other hand, things to do. I'm going out with the new CEO of Kaiser Permanente to look at the facilities in North County. We've been working with him. He's a great guy, and certainly he's a good friend of the new CEO of Tri-City Hospital. I thought that was interesting. They both came from up north. The other thing is that we have a harbor this weekend, Harbor Days. It's a great event. It's the biggest and best thing going in Oceanside throughout the year. Be down there, enjoy yourself. That's one of them. The other one is involved men are having their yearly barbecue at the Second Baptist Church in Oceanside. They're always great barbecue. Go there, it's like $10 a plate for some great barbecue. And we also have the North County Model Railroad picnic at Heritage Park. This new group out there moved out there. We gave them a facility at Heritage Park. They're building a whole brand new layout on the train set that will be all of North County on the train set. So that's pretty important. I think they'd like to see out there. And the last one I've got to go to Saturday is the evening for the remembrance for Dr. Ben Carson, worldly renowned neurosurgeon. This is for the Costa Resort and Spa for Solutions for Change. Solutions for Change always have these. It's a great dinner out there at La Costa. We meet a lot of people, and it's helping the homeless people in Oceanside. So it'll be a great event. Other than that, it seems like we're going through event after event, but I want to tell you one thing. I'm happy about the weather change. The last week or two, I felt like I was in Florida. 100 degrees and sweating, and we had the smooth jazz concert down at the amphitheater at the the theater, and it was fantastic. But we were sitting in the direct sun for about 3 hours, and I don't know, I didn't want to leave, but it was getting to the point where I felt like I was well done and probably should have left. And make sure you wear a hat out there. But ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things going on in Oceanside. I thank you for making it a great city. Have a good weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you later. Thank you very much.